Baptist podcast, we gather around to talk theology, politics, and the sweet banjo sound. Kevin Thompson leads the way, teacher and preacher too. With a men's quartet, the harmonies ring true. Gather around the mic, let's find our way, singing praises, strumming banjo strings all day. Amputated Baptist podcast, where we all belong. Join the harmony, let it carry us along. With a passion for faith and a banjo by our side, we don't deep, we don't hide, we take it all in stride. From parables to politics, every topic on the table, let's harmonize together, let's make it stable. In the chord progressions we find our peace, singing praises, strumming banjo strings all day. Amputated Baptist podcast, where we all belong. Join the harmony, let it carry us along.
Theology, politics, and a little bit of banjo. You're listening to the Amputated Baptist podcast. And now, here is your host, the Amputated Baptist himself, Kevin Thompson.
All right, hello and welcome back to the podcast. Today, I don't know if it's a treat or what for you, but it is for me. We have Chandler Martin on the podcast for the very first time. And Chandler has the distinction of being one of my former students. So, Chandler, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks. I'm glad to be here. I don't know whether I should call you Mr. Thompson or Kevin.
Either way is going to work. But depending on how this...
Can I call you T-Money?
Didn't you and...
Me and Cameron.
Cameron, yeah, good night.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. See how disrespectful my students are?
Yep.
And, after all the hard work and investment I put into their lives, this is what they come back to me with. T-money. Anyway. All right. Well, Chandler, you've got a new podcast, and we're going to be talking about that in just a minute. But Chandler, kind of introduce yourself to this audience. I'm sure there's a couple people out there that already know you, but kind of tell us about yourself and give us your testimony.
Yeah, so super happy to be here. I'm Chandler. For those of you that don't know me, I was Mr. Thompson's favorite student back in high school.
Yeah. Sorry.
And,
What?
No, it was great having him as a teacher, but I have been
just do a but after that statement.
Okay.
Continuing on.
And I enjoyed having him as a teacher. There you go. Yes. Perfect. So I've been walking with the Lord for maybe 7 years now. I was faking it for the other, how old am I? 17 years. I was faking it for the other 17 years. Knew all the right answers. I knew what the gospel was, and I knew a lot of like good theology and like eschatology and stuff. Not so much now on the eschatology thing, but we'll know on the day he returns exactly what eschatology is, right? But in 2019, I really kind of came to grips with how much of a sinner I am, how bad I am, how lustful, how cowardly, and how selfish I am, and I'm not. Like, I'm still selfish, I'm still cowardly, I'm still lustful. But by the grace of God, a lot of that has gone away. And I really I dove in deep to the gospel and to just sharing my faith and reading my Bible and so much different types of theology and other stuff in 2019. And my best friend Cameron joined me in that, because I have a YouTube channel on my own now, and he helps with that, but we had a channel together.
Yes, I was on that. I remember.
You were. Yes, we did a episode on Calvinism with you.
Yep, we did.
Yeah, I think I would have called myself a 5-point Calvinist back then. I was all in, but I didn't really have an answer to a lot of the questions. I'm probably more like a 3-point right now. I'm still wrestling with a lot of stuff with that, but
which is fine, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. And I say a lot, so bear with me. We're working on that. But one of the biggest things that I dealt with, and I shared this at my testimony in high school before I graduated, but one of the hugest things that I struggled with was pornography. A lot of lust. I was a sex addict for a really big part of my life, and hid that from my parents for a while. Eventually I couldn't hide it. Brought them in on that, and I thought I was good for a while, and then I got depressed eventually and just went straight back to it. And I was able to join an amazing group of guys in something called, actually have the book here. It's a ministry called 7 Pillars of Freedom. It's like an AA meeting, but for sex addicts.
Right.
So the whole basic understanding of the book and how to get out of this is basically you need to change your mindset, and not only just like change your mindset, but let God work in you and change that, and have a lot of brothers come alongside of you and keep accountable with that, and to just fight that together. Eventually, I wasn't able to finish the curriculum with them, but I did a lot of it before I deployed. I'm also in the Air Force. Sorry, I forgot to mention that.
Right.
I have the honor and privilege to serve our country in the United States Air Force, and that's super awesome. I actually have a full-time job on base right now, and God's providing for me that way. With my wife, and I have off Fridays, so that gives me a huge opportunity to do things like this.
Perfect. But this is a Thursday right now, though.
It is a Thursday. Yes, it is a Thursday. That's the time you were available, and I'm
right.
usually available around those times too, so it worked for me.
All right.
Yeah. So I have a beautiful wife, Jaden. She wasn't scared away when I told her about my lust and pornography issues, and she's helped me a lot with that stuff too. And I have accountability with my dad, a few friends, and obviously her. And we're working through that, and it's gotten so much better in the past few years. And but yeah, that's a big part of my testimony. I love spreading the gospel. I love studying theology, and that's kind of why I decided to start this channel, because I love doing that, and one of my passions are making videos and kind of like doing videography stuff and video editing and things like that. And if I commit to it, then it goes great. So we're 2 months into this now, and it's a small channel, obviously, but I'm up 41 subscribers. So we'll see where God takes it.
Well, I'm glad that you're not as big as the Amputated Baptist podcast right now. So I feel like I'm still towering over you at this point.
Yes, you are. I'm standing, or I'm sitting in front of a giant.
Yes, and that's not talking about my weight, but.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Okay. Let me comment on a couple of things you just said. I wasn't planning to go in this direction, but let me say first, it's it's a brave thing to say this out loud. You're saying this on the podcast, and you said it on your podcast. You have an episode um, on this issue, and you talked about getting caught by your parents at one point, and let me say that that's a gift of grace. The fact
Yeah.
that you were caught, the fact that God didn't just let this continue, that you had to be confronted about it, which was the right thing to do. And then third, what I appreciate about your testimony is you contacted a group of guys. You're being held accountable. You're not doing this on your own. A lot of people try to go that route because of fear, because of shame, because of guilt, whatever. But you were never meant to do this on your own. God, from the very beginning, from Genesis 2 throughout the rest of Scripture, places the disciple, places the Christian within a group, within a community, because you weren't designed to carry this burden by yourself. The sin that you're struggling with is a sin that many others are, and when you're vocal about that, it gives others the bravery to come forward and say that's also something I struggle with, and then you're struggling together, and the burden is being shared. And not only is it just accountability, but to some degree, it's a sense of relief. There's a burden that's being shared. So I really appreciate that. And the other thing I appreciate, I keep going on about this, but now that you are married, you're married to a wonderful person that I don't think I've met yet. Um, I'm still waiting for
Oh,
my wedding
wow.
invitation. But anyway, uh, this doesn't disappear with marriage.
Right.
I know so many young people who have said, well, that, I've got this problem, but as soon as I get married, this will go away because then, as a good Christian, I'm going to wait and save myself the actual physical act. Once I engage in that in a biblical way, that'll take away the lust I've had, that'll take away the problems, but it doesn't. In fact, it puts a burden on a marriage that shouldn't have been there to begin with. And if you're not dealing with this, it can kill a marriage. And the problem doesn't go away. So tackle this today. Tackle this now, whether it's a program like Chandler mentioned. Um, but to do that, you got to have the awkward conversation with somebody. You got to have that conversation that says, hey, listen, this is my problem. Whether it's a
Yeah.
pastor, teacher, a friend, you got to do it.
Mm-hmm. And if I could say one thing real quick, one of the most profound things I heard Josh Barker say, the guy who I interviewed,
Yeah.
one of my former pastors, he was we were talking about accountability, and he brought up the time in the Bible where Jesus was preaching in this house, and these four guys brought their friend to this house and brought him up to the
Yeah.
roof, and they cut out the roof, and they brought him down. Josh he got this from, I'll give credit where credit's due because he did as well. He got this from Pastor Joby Martin. But
Yeah, I didn't think Josh was intelligent enough to come up with something himself. So
yeah, no, yeah. Well, he's better than me. I have no original thoughts. I thought I had an original thought in making this channel the Disciples Way, but I found out a lot of other people have things that are very similar. But yeah, so he brought up the illustration of those four mat carriers. Those guys, they had enough faith to bring their friend to Jesus and to knock down, like, breakthrough roofs to get him to Jesus and to save him. So you bring that to accountability, and you have your four guys. Like, obviously you can have accountability with as many people as you want and should, but the illustration is just like having at least four guys, four mat carriers around you, to keep you accountable and to fight these things with you. So that's just one of the amazing things that he said that I love.
You know that Josh Barker's never been on this podcast for some reason?
Oh, really?
Yeah. I have a high standard, and I think that's one of the reasons.
Well, you had me
anyway.
on.
Well, you had it in because you were one of my students, and I felt pity. No, let's talk about your podcast. So it's the Disciples Way. You've got a Facebook page. You've got this is on YouTube, and so you and Cameron have been doing this, but Cameron's eventually going to drop out here as he's got other responsibilities soon. But you're the guy behind this. What's your vision for this podcast?
Yeah, sorry, I had to text my wife real quick. Yes, my vision for this podcast. I was listening to you, I promise.
Yeah, just like in class. Yeah, you're listening.
Sometimes, yeah. When it was important to. I'm kidding. No.
I teach Bible. Yeah, everything's important.
Everything is important. Yes. But I also learned history from you, though, and sometimes it was all important, but sometimes I thought that certain things weren't important.
And that's why you were in the class, because you were thinking wrong.
That's right.
Anyway, continue. Sorry, I'm messing you up here.
No, you're. Yeah. So my big vision with this podcast is to equip myself and others in walking a way that is the most glorifying to God and the most life-giving to other believers. And we just want to bring people to Christ. And one of the ways I've been going about that in the beginning, at least, is kind of like doing like a roadmap of like I'll have some other stuff in there, like the lust and pornography. That's a huge one. And then I have one on marriage coming up soon. But I'm kind of making a roadmap of like what we believe, what we don't believe. So I did something on Roman Catholicism, and I have Roman Catholic friends, and I love them, and I'm sure I'll see them in heaven one day. But there are some huge issues I have with Rome. Right. So Cameron and I did a video on why we disagree with it and some biblical disputes we have with it. So that's one of the things. And then I also did a video on Islam.
Yeah, and that one seems to have kind of taken off there.
Yeah, I actually didn't. I've been kind of dealing with this week. That was the first video that absolutely shot off on the channel, and it's awesome because God's going to do a work in that, and He's going to bring people to Him, and that's my work is done with that. But I also did not exactly want to be known as the Islamic apologetics channel.
Right.
That's not how I saw myself. There are a lot of really good guys in that space. I'm just not on their level, and I'm not trying to be. So I hope that people can have enough grace to know, like, hey, you had one good video on Islam, but you do your own thing and go past it. But yeah, I don't doubt that I'll have more videos on Islam. I love the topic. I've been kind of kind of studying it for a while. Obviously Cameron, who I had on it, and his friend Jabril, they knew a lot more about it than I do. And they could actually like go to scriptures and different surahs, like Surah 1094, which talks about, if you have any doubts, go to the scriptures that were before you. And I could be mixing it up with one of the other ones that say to go to the scriptures before you or go to the believers, which is the Islamic dilemma. 5 seconds here. The Islamic dilemma basically is that the Quran says that that the Torah and the Injil are true. And it also contradicts it in so many ways. Yeah. And we could get into that if you wanted, but that would take a long time. Contradicts in so many ways, and it also says, hey, like, go to the people of scriptures, go to the Injil, which is the gospel, go to the Torah, and believe that. So basically, if the Bible is right, then the Quran is false, simply because it contradicts it in so many ways, right? And just the story leading up to it is so demonic. But also, if the Bible is wrong, then the Quran is also wrong because it claims to go with the Bible, that the Bible is true. So that's a basic, like 30-second explaining of the Islamic dilemma.
Now, I'm curious, as you're studying this, did anything from your worldviews class come to mind?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah. So,
good.
I mean, we talked about like the history of Muhammad and different things that the Quran says or that the Hadith say. You know, he married Aisha, his
Yep.
second wife, actually, at age 6, consummated the marriage at 9, obviously before puberty. And we went over that in the worldviews class. Another one of the big things was the Quran denies the crucifixion of Christ.
Right.
And we obviously know, like, we have the Bible. The Bible is enough, but we also have history outside the Bible that further proves it, that
Right.
the crucifixion and the resurrection happened. So those are just two really easy things that kind of undermine the integrity of that religion.
Well, I love the idea that I was able to teach you something, but then you took that and went far deeper than I did in class. So that's an encouragement to me. Um, what do you have? What do you have planned up in the future here for the podcast? So you've done things on Islam. You talked about perhaps tackling the issue of marriage. Is that kind of the direction you're going?
Yeah, so I want to get as many different topics as I possibly can.
Okay.
But one of the biggest things that I really want to get deep into is just basically the gospel. I was watching a short sermon jam from Paul Washer, and he said the gospel is so deep and so wide, like we'll never know it. Like you'll know exactly what your eschatology is and should be and what is true on the day that Jesus returns. But the gospel is so it's so deep. It's God's love for us, which is a big part of the gospel. One of the main parts of the gospel is it's so unfathomable, and I don't think we'll ever reach it. And even when we're in glory, maybe we'll understand it, but there's always something that God knows that we don't. So maybe we won't even understand the gospel fully in its full essence when we're in heaven. That's just how beautiful the gospel is.
Yeah. And the gospel is not just merely your entrance into the faith. It is the faith.
Exactly.
The gospel is not simply a prayer. You pray to get into a religion, to sign a book, or to form a membership somewhere, but it's something that you're going to be diving deep into for the rest of your life here on earth. And that's a great idea. So it's The Disciples Way is the name of your podcast again. I want people to go and subscribe. It's on YouTube. I'll have a link to that. And now keep in mind, you need to finish up your Amputated Baptist podcast listens first. And once you're caught up, you head over to The Disciple Way and you check out what Chandler and Cameron have. And I'm going to recommend it. So it comes with the Amputated Baptist recommendation. So there's...
If I could, real quick, we're going to try to get on Spotify soon too. So
Spotify as well. Okay. So how long is that going to be? Is that something that's momentarily or?
Momentarily, yes.
Okay, so by the time this airs, this could be true. This could already be happening.
Yeah.
Okay, so if this happens before I actually air this, which will be a couple of weeks, I'll put that link in our show notes as well, so you can go to Spotify and download it there, which I'm pretty sure would actually make it available in other places as well. So Chandler, I want to thank you for taking the time and coming on the podcast, my podcast, and you're doing a great job. Proud of you, and keep up the good work.
Awesome. I was glad to do it with you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. So don't forget to check out amputedbaptist.com. You'll find all that info there. So join us back next week. We've got a lot more books we're going to go through, some authors We're going to interview, and eventually we are going to get back to the Apostles' Creed series that I kind of interrupted a while back, but we are going to come back to that, I promise. So until next week, have a great rest of your week.
Strings all day. Amputated Baptist Podcast, where we all belong. Join the harmony, let it carry us along.